be back.
I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone over dark clouds that at the it's gonna be a bright sunshiny day.
I did the audio for this track. You know that, right? The background audio, not the front audio. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. We have our very special guest with us today, Miss Mary Callaghan, our nurse and hero of the day. Hello, Miss Callaghan. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
And as always, it is Miss Espinet, Mr. Myles, and Lori Beard to welcome to you to the show. Miss Beard, you ready for the pledge?
Yes, I am.
So am I. Boom.
Boom. Hand over heart. Hold on, I'm going. Okay. Okay, sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have a few very happy birthdays today as well. We have Jessica Greenblatt, Ella Thornton, and Ann Wax. Thank you and happy birthday to you all. Mr. Myles, we have a very special quote of the day. Hit us up.
Yes, we do. And it's coming from our wonderful, you see my wand, J.K. Rowling, who brought us the wonderful Harry Potter and all of the things that are attributed to Harry Potter in the Harry Potter universe. And it says, "It is our choices that show who we truly are, far more than our abilities." Thank you, J.K. Rowling.
I'm in Slytherin house, as you can all tell. I'm communicating with that snake right now.
I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm going to take off my sorting hat because I already know what house I am. Today's song of the day is appropriate. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone because in Long Beach, the sun is peeking through the clouds. Thank goodness. And we're going to learn about our person of the day, Madam C.J. Walker, American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and activist. From washerwoman to becoming America's first female self-made millionaire, she took on society's ideas of beauty and empowered women, giving them the opportunity of education and financial independence. She helped create generational wealth for many Black families through her beauty empire. She pushed President Woodrow Wilson to pass legislation to make lynching a federal crime. Her example continued through the decades as she inspired beauticians in 1963 to pay for the buses that took people to the March on Washington where MLK gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. We celebrate Madam C.J. Walker because her story is our history. Get inspired, people.
She was also America's first female billionaire as well.
I believe I may have said that. Thanks for listening, but hey.
Oh, sorry. I'm working on a lot of things right now.
Expecto Pastelionis.
Okay, Patronus. We have a few.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Oh, I love that. We have a few things for you guys today. Students, we are looking to interview you guys for the radio show. Please, you want to find out things about you, get to know you a whole lot better, some cool, interesting facts about you. If you're interested, if you happen to be interested, please put your name and grade on Mr. V's post on the Spirit Google Classroom about interviews, okay? We want to talk to you and talk about you and hear about you. So GSA will be meeting via Zoom every other Wednesday starting next Wednesday, the 29th. Their Google Classroom is AK6IABO. That, again, is AK6IABO. Mr. V will post that up for you. That's where we'll post the links for students to join the Zoom for GSA. Student organization meetings at 3 p.m. via Zoom today. Today, don't miss it. Check the Google Classroom for the Zoom link. New members are always welcome. Now back to you, Mr. V.
We also have a very special announcement that today is also Holocaust Remembrance Day, commemorating the 6 million Jews and millions of others who were killed in the Holocaust. The date is in accordance with the Hebrew calendar. It's not to be confused with the International Holocaust Day that comes out in January. And the date was chosen to mark the beginning of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. So if you want to celebrate and remember Holocaust Remembrance Day for yourselves, you can visit any of the Holocaust museums virtually, like this one right here, that have many virtual activities for all of you to be a part of to remember this day in history. So check out any of the Holocaust Remembrance Museum websites, and I'm sure they have plenty of other virtual activities for you to be part of as well. Finally, we do have our Spirit Week continuing for Twin Day. Match a friend, put pictures together, and upload your pics on the Spirit Classroom page. Our very, very special guest, again, is Nurse Callaghan. It is very nice to see you.
Great to see all of you.
We know that you're working still because we can't come and see you in the health office, and you're spending a lot of time working at which hospital again?
Mount Sinai, South Nassau. It's a hospital in Oceanside. They also have an emergency room in Long Beach also.
Now, I do urge everybody on here as well, if you have any questions for Nurse Callaghan, to put them in the chat. They will come to me. I'll look at your questions, and then towards the end, I'll unmute you, and you can ask the question yourself to Ms. Callaghan. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds great, yeah.
That's fantastic. So you've been helping out at Mount Sinai, South Nassau Hospital. How has the hospital adjusted during these times?
I have to say the hospital looks completely different than it did a couple of months ago. But I've been very inspired by how quickly they've made all these changes. I work in the emergency room, and on normal times, you would feel sick, you would walk in the door, and you would see a nurse. And that nurse would help decide what part of the hospital you need to go to and how quickly. And that's called triage. So right now, instead of having the patients come in the front doors, we have a nurse stationed out in the parking lot all day, all night, and seeing the patients as soon as they drive up. So that has been very helpful in keeping people who have virus symptoms separated from people who just broke their arm and just need an x-ray. I was lucky enough to work in this tent during a very nice and sunny day, but I feel kind of bad for the nurses who are out there when it's cold, but it's been helping a lot. And then when you walk in the door, we have this. I showed up for work a couple weeks ago, and there was this tremendous iPad. It's like the size of a person, and it has wheels. And on the screen is one of our ER doctors in their kitchen or their living room looking at the screen of patients who are coming into the ER and talking to them immediately when they come in the door. So that's really very different. If anyone here had the experience of going to an ER, you usually have to wait many, many hours to see a doctor, right? So this doctor is helping everything move forward quickly. They can order tests. They can send medication to the pharmacy right from their living room. So that's been super helpful. And then they've also built this enormous tent in the parking lot that's holding 25 people. They seem to think of everything, honestly. There's oxygen tanks, there's running water, there's bathrooms, there's medical supplies, there's computers and printers and staff members out there. And that has really helped get people seen quicker so that they could go home quicker, which is what we all want.
Nice.
Excellent. What we also hear that healthcare workers are flying in from all over the country and even the globe to help us out in these times of crisis. Have you met any other interesting peoples whilst working?
I was very surprised, but I have met many, many people from all over the place. I've worked at the South Nassau ER for about 5 or 6 years, and I'm very comfortable there. I know the staff, I'm very familiar with it, and I've met people who came here from Arizona. I met a doctor who came here from Kansas City. all different areas of the country where they haven't been hit as hard as we have been in New York. And I can't believe the amount of guts that it takes to come to a place you've never been before and help, because all of them said, oh, we heard you guys needed help, so we're here. And that's very awesome. Really, really cool. They're all looking forward to coming back at a time where they can actually see the sights that we have.
We hear a lot of negative stories about the pandemic, but we want to hear some of the stories of recovery that you've experienced.
That's very important to celebrate the recoveries. There's been so much of it. When you walk in the front doors of the hospital, they have a big poster, and it has the number of people who recovered and were discharged from the hospital and have gone home, who beat COVID. So every time I leave and every time I come in, that number is a little bit higher, which is wonderful. We have a announcement system in the hospital, much like the one in the middle school, where they make all the important announcements. And every time someone has recovered and is being wheeled out of the hospital to go home, they use that system to play about like 20 seconds of Here Comes the Sun for the whole hospital to hear. That has been wonderful. A lot of the staff takes a quick second to clap. A lot of the patients have asked me, what's that about? And when you tell them, it gives them a lot of hope that they can go home too.
That must be very uplifting for the people working there too.
It is, yeah.
What are some of the most important safety practices we should be doing right now being at home?
Being at home, well, that's a good question, because it also lets me give a lot of credit back to you guys. Staying home has been the most helpful thing that anybody can do. The hospital admissions have gone down recently, and we're hoping that they keep going down, and that is because each person practicing social distancing and staying in their house, no matter how hard it is or how stir crazy you get, has helped save lives. All of you are helping saving lives by doing that. And of course, I have to mention hand washing, my favorite thing.
All right, let's see. Do you see how students interact changing after this? Like how, after we get out of this whole situation, will the interaction between students be different? For example, some doctors recommend that we don't shake hands anymore. Are the high fives gone? Are we hugging? Are we kissing? What do you think is happening after this?
I hope we go back to high fives, for sure. I think that what we're experiencing is the most extreme part of this pandemic. And of course, we need to be very safe when we go back to all of these things. But I definitely see high fives in our future. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Are there any student questions, Mr. B?
I have one actually from Miss Barbara Vahey. Barbara Vahey, you are unmuted. Please ask your question.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
Miss you all. Mary, I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure everybody feels the same way. My niece is also an RN, and I know there are many in our Long Beach Middle School family that have others working in that field. My question to you, Mary, is, are you taking any extra precautions to protect yourself when you go into the hospital for work?
That's a great question. And thank you for all your well wishes. I wish your niece well also. We appreciate all of the well wishes. It's required that we wear a mask when we're in the hospital. And then when we're doing patient care, we have all of this gear on. We have gloves, masks, gowns, goggles, anything that can protect us and protect the patients. And then I'm just doing my very best to keep my immune system strong when I'm home, like trying to rest, eat healthy, and get enough sleep so that my immune system stays strong for when I go in there.
Perfect. And are you able to get outside and catch some fresh air and some sunshine when you're off?
When it's a sunny day, I definitely try to go outside, absolutely. Even when it's rainy, it's good to be outside.
Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. We got another question here from Miss Riley Ackerman. Riley, you're on the air.
How do you handle the stress of your job?
Hi, Riley. Thank you for asking. You know, it can be very stressful, but the coworkers I have at South Nassau, we're all trying to stay as positive as possible. So when we reach out to each other, we try to support each other at work, we reach out to each other at home. I watch shows that are funny. I'm straying towards the feel-good Netflix shows right now. And I'm reaching out to my family when I'm home, and that really helps with the stress. Like seeing other people's faces, like being on Zoom right now and seeing all of your faces and knowing we're all going to be together after all of this has helped tremendously with stress.
Because your job at the middle school is not stressful at all.
It's a different kind of job. You never know what's going to come in at the middle school either, much like the hospital. I miss it very much.
Thank you, Riley.
Jolie had a question I saw written down, but I think she already answered it.
Okay.
Any other questions from the Miss Beard? Do you have a question?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss school?
20.
Yeah, same.
Well, I am reminded of something on Mr. Rogers, who was famous for his children's show, once said that when he was a boy and he would see scary things on the news, his mom would tell him to look for the helpers. So there's always people helping. And Nurse Mary, we thank you for being one of those helpers because you help us every day.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be a part of Long Beach and this community, and I see all of you doing your best to help as well, and it's very inspiring. Thank you all.
We also want people to remember that every night at 7 p.m. in Long Beach, you can go out and cheer, clap, bang a pot, make some noise for all of our first responders and healthcare workers. Post a video or photo on our classroom page of your best cheer for our hometown heroes. Also remember 7 p.m. tonight, make some noise for the doctors, nurses, firefighters, police, cleaning staff, workers, store workers, food delivery staff. They're all out there helping us to remain safe and healthy.
Mr. B.
All right. Miss Callaghan, thank you so much for being on with us.
Do you have a Band-Aid, by the way? Can I get a Band-Aid?
Oh, I have another burning question before we go to the next segment. If we were to purchase masks, where would we be looking to do this nowadays?
That is a great question. They're out there giving them to hospitals as of right now, and people are really using their craft skills, which I don't have any of those, but people are making them at home. There's a lot of information online of how to make an effective mask if you have the materials at your house. And then I know that there's a lot of companies making cloth masks, which are a good option right now because you can wash them and use them again.
I've seen somebody make them out of socks, put a coffee filter inside, or put a paper towel inside of a bandana or just a rectangular piece of fabric. So there's a lot of, and using hair ties on the end. So there's a lot of options.
Brianna Franco had a question.
Where are we? Oh, there it is. Ooh, my thing's coming in slow. All right, Brianna. Where is she? Why can't I find anybody?
I don't see her either.
Maybe she left. She asked about what kinds of things you did at the hospital to help people with COVID.
I'm sorry, what are the things we do at the hospital?
What kinds of things do you do at the hospital to help people with COVID?
Okay, so some of the people who come in, they need just a little extra oxygen. We give them oxygen. We give them medicine that doctors have found are helping make the illness last for less time. So we're giving them medicine, we're giving them support, we're giving them a little bit of rest because sometimes they're very tired. And if they need extra help from us, they can stay in the hospital for a little bit longer until they're able to go home and take care of themselves at home.
Excellent. And Charlie Deutsch said to share that you can get the masks on Amazon.
Oh, good.
Okay, so they are still doing it. Okay.
How are the supplies at the hospital?
The supplies are okay. There was a lot of people who were nervous that we wouldn't have personal protective equipment, but so far we've been good. I get a new mask and gown and all that stuff every shift that I go in.
Awesome.
Yes, and we have plenty of oxygen, plenty of medical equipment so far.
Fantastic. Thank you again so much for being here. It's really nice to hear from you. We do miss being able to talk to people every day, especially our wonderful nursing staff and secretaries and administrators and teachers and students. So it's so nice to finally be able to hear other people's voices and tell them how much we appreciate them. And yeah, I just so you can hear everybody's voice, everybody is unmuted. Give Miss Callaghan a round of applause. We love what you do. We love everything that you're doing for us. We appreciate the hospital staff and the nurses.
Yeah, we're
A little music, Miss Espinet.
You hit me.
All right, everybody. Don't forget we're here every day at 2:40. Thanks for coming out and giving Nurse Callaghan a round of applause and telling her how much we appreciate her. Thank you for being here. You're all fantastic. We do have plugs. We do have Mr. Biesma coming on tomorrow, so we get to know him just a little bit better. Thursday, Miss Berman will be joining us for a What You Cooking segment. Teach us how to cook delicious, delicious food at home. And Friday, we do have Miss Smith coming on for her own personal book review and tell us what we should be reading, because I have not been doing enough of that. Don't forget we're here every weekday at 2:40 p.m. for your daily afternoon radio announcements. And we remind you to stay home.
Stay safe.
Be healthy and remember.
We are all together.
Together. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Can't wait to see you tomorrow with Mr. Biesma, Thursday for Miss Berman, and Friday for Miss Smith. Can't wait to see you for the rest of the week. Enjoy this nice sunny day.
While the laugh.